Sponsored by Andrea Mason, Press Play, Plan Life According to You, LLC. Take care of your mental health. Find inner peace by rediscovering and loving you for who you truly are. Take advantage of this exclusive offer and choose to press play today. Thank you.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is the host of the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast, and if I am want to let you know, I am yours truly, Warren Marlowe. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to stay in contact with all our platforms: Facebook, X, Snapchat, Tumblr. We are on all social media handles as well. We are also on Threads, Instagram. Trying to think of all of them. We're on all of them. But guys, also you can check us on all audio platforms as well, just to name a few: Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, Podvine, Good Pods, and all Apple platforms, including Spotify and iHeartRadio. Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys, I hope everybody is having a great day. Today is going to be a special episode. I know this ain't on a Friday. We're doing 2 episodes this week, just due to one, my wife's birthday is going to be tomorrow. So we wanted to make sure we can get a nice little, plenty of time for the wife. But I need to get 2 episodes out this week. So I got this one, and of course we have another scheduled episode tomorrow coming out as well. It's going to be an awesome episode. Definitely, if you're into the military background and stuff like that, even if you don't have to be in the military background, you will definitely be intrigued with the episode tomorrow as well. But right now, guys, today's episode is going to be very, very exciting. We've been on a journey right now, really attacking what's the true thing of men's mental health. I get it. We talk about women's being emotional and stuff like that, due to everything that I've been through in my past, regarding with vulnerability, regarding with, certain things that I felt like I needed to be as a man. And sometimes I felt like I was failing at the same time, but realizing it's just life, man. It's just life. Not everything that you work up for is always going to be easy to run with, easy to roll, easy to go. And not all choices that you make is going to be able to be a continuous thing. Obviously, a lot of things have changed for me over the years. I've had to make a lot of adjustments. I've had to make just what I call an audible. If anybody don't know a football or a sports reference, as just basically you may call it on the fly. So it's like, sometimes you come in there with a game plan, you came in there with a focus, and it doesn't go that way. I've been through it a lot. I've definitely done it in a wrestling ring. I know everybody keeps wondering, hey, y'all call things in the back? Do y'all go over everything? Da 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 da. We do, but 9 times out of 10, it doesn't go the way that you call it in the back. And if it does, you're actually very much amazed but also I just love calling on the fly. It makes it more organic, makes it more interesting. It really tests out the opponent and figure out, hey, how we really can bring it down in the audience standpoint. But guys, this is going to be a fun episode today. We're going to be really short on the intro, but first we're going to talk about the ones that pay the bills. First and foremost, I want to thank Andrea Mason. She is doing an amazing job all over the world, doing the crazy things that she has been going through and stuff that she went through at a very young age as a child, to be the positive light that she is doing. Guys, if you feel like you need help with life, just talk about it or just something, Andrea Mason is the person to go to. Big shout out to Andrea Mason. I owe a lot to that woman, man. She does an amazing job, and I greatly appreciate her for being able to sponsor this podcast and doing these things that she does, the extra mile. It's truly a great blessing. And of course, I'm going to try to hopefully network her with the guy I got as the guest today. Guys, today's guest, before we get introduced to our guest, we're going to talk about some good old-fashioned energy. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what type of energy that is? That's that W energy. That's right, guys. You go to w.gg, you can get you some of that big energy tears, that beach and peach, that lovely push and punch. And more importantly, man, I just tried it out. Yes. I am talking about that good old man, Passion Tea. Oh my goodness, it is amazing, guys. And more importantly, it is jitterless energy, and it is lacking on the caffeine level. It gets you what you need and doesn't make you want to go through doors. Guys, also you can get hats, the bumper stickers. If you're a NASCAR fan, type in the promo code BUZZ20 with a capital B and get 10% off of your purchase. Shout out to W Energy for always giving Buzzing with Marlowe Nation that genderless energy. That's right, guys. And of course, guys, we also got to talk about the merch from our bonfire shop, bonfire/Buzzing. Oh, my bad. Wrong clip. You're already flipping it. All right. Bonfire/Buzzing with Marlowe. And of course, we've got our Mr. Red, White, and Blue favorite right there. That's right, guys. Memorial Day is right upon us. It is right around the corner. Get you some of that Mr. Red, White, and Blue merch. That's right, guys. We got long sleeves, short sleeves, V-necks, shorts, the 3/4 quarter sleeves, all of that, man. Go in there. Get you some of that, representing that Prodigy Nation. It is strong. He is back, accepting bookings left and right. You better be ready and get that merch before he shows up to your town near you. And of course, guys, we have every setback makes one heck of a comeback. I live by this motto each and every day. If you feel like you also need a little bit of wisdom and a good word to express the, how to go through your day, I recommend this shirt. Of course, guys, on the back, they have the Morphing into Season 5 logo, which is very rare that we put a logo on the back of the t-shirts. So definitely check those out. Those are in all t-shirts, guys, all t-shirts. And of course, guys, it says heck, it doesn't say hell. So we also saved it for the kids, so the kids can be able to wear it appropriately and, with pride and stuff like that. We have plenty of sizes for them as well. And of course, we have the Morphing into Season 5, all t-shirts as well, including tank tops. It might be a little bit more pricey, like we've always been talking about, because just the in-depth of the color. We really wanted the color to really show out on the freaking on the shirts and stuff like that. So yes, it is going to be a little extra for those type of shirts. Of course, we have the original Buzzing with Marlowe logo, every type of shirt as well. And of course, guys, we have our hats. What else can I say about the hats, man? They're very comfortable, very durable. They last very long. The logo looks amazing on these hats. I just got a beanie just to have one. I know those are the personal favorites right now, are the beanies. But Guys, go in there and type in the promo code BUZZ20. You will get 12% off of your purchase. Type in the promo code BUZZ20 with a capital B, and you'll get 12% off of your purchase. That is only good until the end of this month, because it is yours truly's birthday month. I decide I'm going to give a little discount on May. All right, guys, we're not going to waste any more time, guys. My guest today, awesome person. We connected off of social media, and man, I tell you, one of my favorite people right now. I'm talking about the one, the only Old Man Energy's own Flint Anderson. That's right, guys. Flint Anderson, podcaster, motivational speaker, life coach. His purpose is to help men's mental health. Find it, man. Find it, man. A lot of people want to know how it is to be a good father, how to be a good husband, how to just be a good human, have that mental health locked and filled and cleared and in a good spirit standpoint. Flint is your man to get that done. So guys, we're not going to waste any more time. When the countdown goes 30 to 1, we come back from the commercial break. We be joined with Flint Anderson. And ladies and gentlemen, that starts in 3, 2, 1, right now. See y'all in a bit. Oh, I messed up. Oh. Good thing for editing.
Spend time with your family?
Sure I do.
Good.
People, what's good? What's happening? What's going on? Yo, it's me, Brian B. That's right, and I'm telling you guys to head on over to YouTube today and make sure you subscribe to the Beeline Entertainment LLC. Check us out. We all over the place.
Stop. I want it. I want it. I got it. I want it.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
right, guys. I am joined with Flint Anderson. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today, brother.
Hey, man. I love the T-shirt. Just coming in and with that old man energy standpoint, like, bro, I feel it. I feel it. We were talking behind the back. I mean, you were saying you might be a little bit older than me, but I might look older than you right now just with all this thing facial hair. But man, currently you're basically in the same area as I am, and I usually get to brag about how hot my area is compared to all the other people's area where they complain about their type of climates. But man, how is that? And are you basically born and raised out in Florida?
Oh man, we talking about the weather in Florida. It feels like an armpit most days all summer long.
Oh my gosh.
I was in I'm from the West originally. I grew up in Texas and New Mexico, depending if you ask my dad or my mom where I'm from, they'll tell you. But didn't like the desert very much at all. I love New Mexico. It's beautiful, but do not want to live there like Florida. I was in Vegas talking with a buddy of mine out there. We were sharing a cigar, and one of his friends showed up and was like, I got a question for you. Why on earth would you choose to live in that humidity all the freaking time? He said, I like going there for vacation, but good God. And it's hot already this year in Florida. I don't know if everybody out there has found out, but it's been like 95, 96 here. That's July temperatures for us. And it's not even halfway through May.
Yeah. I remember when I can't really watch the news on a lot of things, but I saw the temperature standpoint and it was just like red. I'm like, we're back.
Summertime or as
it was off and on for a minute, because I mean it got to a point where it was like, oh, you can go to the beach for this day. Oh, tomorrow it'll be back in the 60s. What?
Yeah, wait a minute. Well, and we did have a month. We had a month there where it was like it's 50s at night, 60s.
Yeah,
it was 80,
I was
85
like,
during
man,
the day. I was loving it.
it.
Got the outside of the house cleaned up, got all that shit done because I knew it was coming. It's like if it's feeling like this already in March, we're screwed.
This is where landscapers they like it and hate it at the same time, because now it is just going to be miserable at times. If you ain't got no water sprinklers or anything by you, it's gonna be pretty miserable. I tell people all the time, if you ain't got a pool, you better just go get one of those little blow ups, go on Amazon, whatever you need to do, because that's gonna be how you're gonna get through this weather going around, especially this summer. So
it's gonna be hot this summer. I don't know if it's a Florida thing or not, but you always know it's getting hot when the landscaper trucks drive by and they got the shirts flapping on their mirrors. It's like, oh, I know what's going on there. I don't know if that's the rest of the country.
Fortune has been told.
Yes, it's like, okay, it's really hot. So I don't envy those guys their job. They work really hard. My son is one. He loves it, but man, I don't know how he deals with that heat all day long.
I remember when I was younger, I'm like, dang man, how'd they wear pants and all that? It's super hot. And then I get older, I'm like, oh, this is why. You will have you will literally have sun poison if you ain't wearing pants or whatever around here.
Long sleeve shirt.
I remember I was looking, I'm like, good gosh, man. When I was a kid, I was like, I hate wearing pants as it is. Like I used to only wear shorts when I was in high school or whatever. Like it took me forever to actually start wearing jean pants. It just, for some weird reason, I just loved wearing, the gym shorts, maybe some of the khaki type look of shorts, but it was just like, it was strictly shorts. And then when I got older, I'm like, now I'm kind of more in I like the jogger pants type scenario. Those feel a little bit more comfortable. It's kind of weird now. I could go in this type of weather. I'm like, maybe I'll put on my Under Armour jogger pants today, And it's like, it's weird in so many concepts, because I'm like, dang, go, man. I used to literally be nothing but shorts. Like, I remember when it was like 30 degrees outside, I'm still wearing shorts. Now it's like 92. I'll just put on joggers today. People look at me crazy all the time. Like, bro, how are you wearing that?
It took me a long time to learn to dress for the occasion. I just now I change depending on what I'm doing. Okay, well, what am I now? Okay, well, I got to be sales rep for this company now. So, okay, I'm in jeans and a button-down shirt. Well, okay, now I'm old man energy. I'm going to work out. So they're going to wear a tank top and gym shorts. And I don't know. I must change clothes 3 or 4 times a day. That and because it's hot and you sweat through them all the time.
Yes.
That may be a Florida thing too.
I love how you talk about it because when I first started this podcast, I don't know if you're familiar with an app called Anchor app. Basically, it's saying, hey, you just use your phone, record whatever. So this was my thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just play around with it. COVID happened, so nobody's really getting any type of entertainment standpoint. TikTok was just started. I don't want to get into that branch, so I got into this Anchor app, and needless to say, and it's super hot, and I'm recording episodes back to back in the garage, and I mean, kid you not, dude, like I'm sitting there sweating profusively in this hot summit of a gym. What I used to have like a little gym spot and my little podcast area, which was funny. I had my gym set up right here and my little bench chair that I called my podcast chair at the time. So sitting there recording these episodes, and my wife would always look at me. She's like, do you really just sit in there and talk to these people while you're just sweating your butt off? It is like when I got into the house after I would do a recording, whatever, because some of them would just get carried away, like, man, I'm having fun, we can talk all day, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I might need to go, and then I'll like pause the little recording real quick. I'm like, man, I gotta go get my third pair of shorts because I've already sweat through everything. Like, I was just like, holy cow. So like when we finally upgraded to do the video standpoint, I was adamant. I was like, I can't record it in the garage no more. Like it won't look for them no more. But man, Flint, sorry about all that. But Flint, if nobody knows who you are, man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I obviously founder of Old Man Energy. That came directly out of the gym. I am a father, 7 children, and been married to my wife for that. It's a bit of a debate. We got married on Memorial Day weekend, but we can never seem to remember the exact date. We literally had to this year go pull our marriage license out to figure out what exact date it was, which I think it was the 25th. I don't know. It's like there's a mental block there, but we've been married since early 2000. 7 kids, got 7 grandkids, and started wanting to give back. That's where Old Man Energy came from. I started getting in shape right after COVID. My kids were aging out, was looking for a purpose. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to start doing something besides being a full-time dad, because you never really stop being a dad, but when they don't live with you anymore, your role changes a little bit. I'm like,
Right.
The hell am I gonna do? So did 75 hard. Didn't cost anything. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do something for myself. So did 75 hard, finished that, ended up finishing Live Hard. It's documented on my Instagram. I recovered from a lot of really pretty severe medical issues. And when I say recovered, I've got RA and I've got gout, which will never go away completely, but I'm able to keep them under control through exercise. Side benefit of keeping them under control for exercise is I got pretty jacked. So now when I walk around, I look different than I used to. So I'm happy about that. Was lifting one day, came up with Old Man Energy. I'm like, man, I feel really good. I'm super strong today. I got that old man energy. Realized nobody was using it and turned it into a platform to be able to give back, to start talking to guys my age, your age specifically, about how to be good dads and share my experiences and just try and document a lot of that. Funny thing is, my audience on YouTube turned into younger guys too. There's a ton of young guys out there that want to be good dads and fathers and men, and they just have no idea how. So now we've started a couple of programs where we're working on teaching guys how to be mentors and teaching guys how to turn their lives around. And I did it on purpose. Started Old Man Energy, wanted a podcast, found out I really enjoyed being in front of the camera. But man, that's how you and I ended up connecting, and how I connected with a ton of people with that same story. It's like we need to come together as men out there and teach the world that men are not evil, that only weak men are tyrants.
Hey, I love every concept what you said. I love the fact that you said, even though you have, some disabilities, you've had some health issues and stuff like that, you took a change going, hey man, I need to fix this. Hey, a lot of people, and this is the thing that drives me nuts at times, like which I got stitches in my lip right now, and it's driving me nuts. I haven't been to a gym this week. Like, I've already told my family, I'm like, man, I feel like I've lost weight. I feel like I am like, getting all right in that mindset, because you've been built up in that for so long. Like I always tell people, you're never going to be big in the mirror in your visual standpoint. That's one thing that keeps motivating you to keep going type scenario. But you should sit there and take that acknowledgement, because so many people would go, oh, you have this, and they use that as an excuse. I'm like, bro, I've seen someone now has one leg attached to their body and they're in the gym doing leg presses. What is your excuse? Like, if you're seeing stuff like this, and it drives me nuts, because so many people find things to help them basically be comfort. You'd be like, oh, this person didn't do it, so why do I got to do it? Like, you should be different than the next person. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I had a neck injury, and I love how you talked about your story. When I had my neck injury due to wrestling, I stopped lifting weights. I stopped doing everything, because I was like, I had no purpose to lift weights at the time, because I'm not being an athlete anymore. I'm not in that mindset. And man, when I tell you, when I pinched myself and I felt something I ain't never felt in ever, because I used to be one of those guys that would be on, social media, like, hey, I can have my burger and have abs too type scenario. Yeah, I was pinching myself, and it wasn't a good feeling at that time. So I was like, I'm shutting it down, and I'm going to go. I don't care how hard it's going to take me to get back to where I was, but I'm going to do it. And because I remember when I first messed my neck up, whatever, workouts were me lifting my arms up, and I'm sweating from it. And I was getting pissed off at the same time. Like, bro, I used to be what? I can't even lift a weight. My arms are like this, and I'm sweating. And that's why I stopped going to the gym, because I was embarrassed by it. Because I'm like, I can't even lift my arms up. And then the funny thing, obviously, COVID happens, and the funny story about that one was, Bailey's was the only gym at the time. You live in the same area that I remember, so obviously that was the only gym that was still open, even when COVID shut down for a little bit. So I'm sitting there. I was excited, so I'm like, okay, cool. So what I would do, you remember that real small one over by it's over in Orange Park. It's the really small one, because obviously they have the one at Oakleaf now, but they had one particular small one over by where the Larry's Giant Subs and stuff. It was a little bit further past the mall.
It was down there by Big Lots.
Yeah, over by I think it's called Circle Road or Big Circle Road, something like that.
Yep.
And
lived there for years.
Man, I would go there right out at nighttime, whatever, right? So I had my pre-workout in my system. I was ready to go, ready to get in that mindset. I get there, it's closed. It's closed, and I have pre-workout already slightly almost in my system. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, is this a joke? Like, I'm sitting there trying to hit my keys, scanning, beep, 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 beep. And the reason why I thought the gym was still open, because they just took my my money on the membership standpoint. So I'm like, so it's got to be open. And they're still taking my money. And literally, it was like, I'm sitting there like 5 times, and then I'm getting mad because I'm thinking the key's not working. So I'm sitting there just rearranging my key to try to sit there and scan this thing.
It's like, what's wrong with this damn thing?
Then I got mad. So you got the pre-workout system. So I'm sitting there like, bro, screw this. So I started, because I knew for a fact if I got in the car and I'm driving, even though it was like 10 minutes from the house, it would not go well at all. So I'm sitting there doing little dips on the little side, the corner of that street and stuff, just trying to get this stuff out of my system. I'm like, they really shut this shit down.
COVID was such a weird time.
No, it did. And then it was also a good thing too, because obviously, the body weight standpoint, I hated it, because I did have like a personal trainer's mindset, but it was like, bruh, you gotta do so much more now, because it's not like everything is there for you. And it was just like a whole different concept when it came to like working out and stuff like that. So what was your transitions, from, that COVID standpoint to where it is now with your training?
Before I was a full-time mentor and coach, which is what I do now. I ran service-based businesses. I still own them, but my team runs them now. And so COVID for us was really odd because we did maintenance on houses and they just told the world to stay home. so we got a lot busier. From a work standpoint, it didn't really slow down, but with everything being closed, and even I remember when Bailey shut down because they were closed for a month or so when all that stuff was going on. I was on phase 3. I started phase 3 of 75 of the Live Hard program the week before COVID shut down. So I had 3 weeks of the hardest portion of, and if you're not familiar with 75 Hard or Live Hard program, the third phase is the hardest. It has the most steps and you have to do stuff in the public in order to pass it.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time outside. I spent a lot of time talking to neighbors, just talking to people I was running into. I knew every gas station attendant in the 10-mile radius in Orange Park because they were the only people at work that you could go talk to. Cleaned up a lot of trash. There's just a lot involved with that. But in the midst of that transformation, earlier in the year, I had told my rheumatologist in not so many words to go screw himself when he told me I was going to be on 16 pills a day for the rest of my life. I was like, the hell I am. So I was determined to keep that up even in the middle of COVID. So I had some workout equipment on the back porch and I used that and just wanted to maintain that and wanted to do something big for myself. And so that I could find my purpose again. And throughout the course of that year, and even during COVID, it was like, well, okay, this is inconvenient, but this is not going to stop me. So COVID for us was not a real, or for my when I say us, I say my family and our businesses, was not a real redefining moment, except it really made you appreciate the freedoms that we do have. And it kind of it slowed life down a little bit. And this is the only positive thing you'll ever hear me say about the COVID shutdowns is that families spent more time together.
Yep.
Sometimes that was a good thing because if you like your wife and you like your kids, well, that's important. But if you don't like your wife or you didn't get along with your wife,
divorces went up.
It really brought that to a head because now you have to spend time with each other. So I don't know, that might be able to be looked at as a positive thing. But it really forced us to take a look at ourselves and what we were going to do. Some people, and at the beginning of COVID, I drank way too much, man. I learned how to make awesome margaritas, drank a ton of them. Because there wasn't anything else to do. So we were doing that. I was like, okay, well, we can't continue doing this. I'm too old for this. My liver hates me. So started exercising and working out. And really helped define what we want and what I wanted specifically out of life. So it's funny when you talked about Bailey's shifting and shutting down completely, because right after COVID, they moved to Oak Leaf.
And they shut completely. I think they are still closed. Aren't they still closed?
Yeah,
because I only went to that one. I went to that one.
It's a Planet Fitness now. When Crunch in Orange Park was moving in here, I was lifting at Bailey's, and I've been lifting at Bailey's since they were over further north on Blanding when they were just a meathead gym. That's all they were. It wasn't nice in there. I've been lifting the whole time. So I'm making fun of Crunch. I'm like, yeah, we need another gym. Like we need a hole in our head. Da, 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 da. Well, when Bailey's moved, they were the only option. And I was like, I love it at Crunch. Now I've been lifting there for going on 3 or 4 years since Bailey's moved, and got a great relationship with guys in the gym, and really enjoy it. So it really helped bring to the light the fact that circumstances outside of ourselves that we don't control don't have to impact us long term.
Right.
Our long-term goals have nothing to do with the circumstances that are thrown in our way. They just become objects to go around, through, or over. And sometimes we've got to swallow our pride and go work out at the gym that we used to make fun of. Although I will not ever work out at a purple gym.
So I have to have a confession. So when I first moved to Orange Park, there was a Anytime Fitness over by this little spot over there, and it was really good for a while. Like I was going there with no problem, whatever. I had the same encounter like I did with Bailey's, and it just randomly shut down. Nobody told anybody the reason why it shut down, whatever. It was like 5 minutes from the road from my house, so it was perfect. And I was like, man, I haven't seen an Anytime Fitness in forever because, I'm from Yulee. That was the only gym that was in Yulee forever. Like, the only gym. That and Ironworks, which I found out Ironworks shut down. So it's like, so I literally was just like, okay, I found an Anytime Fitness, so I can still use my membership that I had from here. Nah, they shut down literally just out of the blue. So like I went one time and it was like not even more than a month. And I was advertising like, hey man, I'm digging the new gym type scenario. Like it was nice, really freaking nice. And like they really invested into the equipment and stuff, which was rare because no offense anytime, are cheap. That is like I raised their memberships and don't have anything new. And yeah. But I got in there and then they shut down. So I was like, all right, there's only one option because I'm still very new to the area. So I didn't know really what was there. So I got a membership at Planet Fitness. And the one literally that real big one right over on that spot.
Yep, right there on Wells Road.
Because I was big on Taco Bell. Like literally that was always my cheat meal. So Taco Bell's right there. So I'm right there. So it's not that far. And I mean, and of course you had the vitamin shop right there too. So it was interesting.
All in the same parking lot.
The lunk alarm is real. I found out that is a real thing. The first time this thing went off was because my jug of water. No lie. I'm like, don't you want me hydrated?
You can't carry a gallon in here, sir. You're intimidating the other patrons.
No, the funny thing is one of the elder peoples went and told on me because I had a jug. I'm like, it's not like it's got anything to make me run through a wall. So then I had one of my friends, so he wanted to be a smart ass about it. So he he gets a big energy can mixed with one of those Redcon drinks, and just like, oh, we're gonna have a good day in the lifting room. And of course, you know, they had those things that help you lift more, get you excited.
Smelling salts, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they loaded this Smith machine up.
With every plate in the
gym. And I mean, he's grunting before he even starting to lift. And like, dude, and like, I swear to you, the kid looked like he was probably in high school. It looked like he ain't never knew what a weight room was in his life. He's just sitting there looking at him like,
oh, we don't do that here, sir.
And he's sitting there grunting before he lifts it. And then he lifts it. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm He-Man in here. And then you hear that little lunk alarm just start just railing. It's like 911 was just called in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is real. Like, why?
The judgment-free zone does not mean judgment-free. It just means we judge other people.
If you lift weights, we judge you.
If you go study their business plan, their whole business plan is designed to make you not come to the gym. No, like, hey, I do know it was busy on a certain time of the month is when they were giving out pizzas. Yeah. But when they were doing what was it? I think it was bread or something. I can't remember what it was. They gave away Tootsie Rolls one time.
Yeah, they gave away Tootsie Rolls. I'm like, what in the world is this? Yeah, well, like people would blow that gym up just to go to get that pizza or Tootsie Roll. I'm like, you couldn't go to Little Caesars yourself? Like, come on.
It was like nothing I'd ever seen. I used to work in the building right across the street there, and then part of our corporate benefit was that we had a free membership to Planet Fitness, and I was lifting at Bailey's at the time, so I'm like, well, hey, I can walk over there on my lunch hour. I don't have to drive down the street. I walked in there, looked around. I was like, no, I don't think I belong here. I jokingly tell people the alarm started going off as soon as I walked in. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. No, I'll just take my chances and go down to Bailey's. And nothing against anybody that works at Planet Fitness or works out at Planet Fitness. Guys, one, the guys that work there are doing their job. And number two, if you're working out to get in healthy and get in shape, who cares where you do it? It doesn't really matter. I don't have anything against the people in there. It's just it's comical to joke about the way they run their business. Because Crunch too, and I was a little hesitant at Crunch because they have what they call the judgment-free zone too, but it's totally different. Crunch caters to all different types of lifters. Yeah. Their judgment-free is, look, just be nice to people while you're in here, pretty much.
I mean, the only downfall for Crunch is they're not 24/7.
And yeah, that's true. I had to adjust that, but I like going super early in the morning anyway. So they open at 5.
Yeah, I like the nighttime. I like nighttime just because I know my wife's in bed, my kids they should be in bed, and it's like I have that release time. Now, if I go early in the morning, I would literally have to force myself to go to bed early as can be at night, which that doesn't work for me, especially working night shifts. My sleep schedule is all over the place. But it's like, I rather that nighttime workout because I love the fact that it's not packed. That junk drives me nuts. There's certain gyms out in this area still, like, it looks like you turn around, you're at the door by the gym, and like around 5 o'clock, people are just crowding in there. I'm like, that's a small spot. Like, y'all couldn't pick this spot over here, whatever. That's why I drive 20 minutes to Fernandina's for that Club 14 one, because I loved how built up and big it is. Like, it feels like Bailey's. It just doesn't have the basketball court or the swimming pool, which I'm cool with all that nonsense. But it's like, I enjoy it because I'm like, man, it's a good surrounding. It's a good environment. Like, even though some of them look like they're bodybuilders that work there, but they're very not judgmental about the ones that are just stepping foot in the gym or the ones that feel uncomfortable. They try to help them get to it. And I think that's something that I think a lot of people still need to work on a focus standpoint with, especially playing fitness. When they say they're judgment free,
we judge actual lifters. Well, I like the fact that you said, I've never been in that gym, but I like the fact that you said that they've got guys working there that look like they lift weights and they're bodybuilders. Because I really, one of the things I teach is you should never take advice from people not qualified to give it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a personal trainer, like the personal trainers at Crunch, and I know most of the guys at this Crunch now just because I'm there when they're working, and they don't usually they've approached me because it's their job. But at the same time, it's like, if you're a little skinny dude who's in shape, but it's not your goal to be big, what are you gonna? You might intellectually know.
You shouldn't be giving advice on,
but you're not going to give me advice on how to lift. It's like, you walk up and you look like a mountain. Okay, maybe I'm going to listen to you. Maybe you can train me. That's not really a judgment call. It's just like, you wouldn't take financial advice from somebody who never had any money. That doesn't make any sense. So it takes all types. I mean, it's, if you want to get in shape and be thin, hire a trainer that looks like that they're going to be able to help you. You want to get jacked and be big, you need to hire somebody that's going to be jacked and big because they know how to do it and they have the meat on the table. Something I love about the gym is it doesn't lie. The weights never lie. You either do the work or you don't.
That's what I do love about the gym, because it does, in a way, you can never figure it out. And that's something I have learned heavily with the gym. Sometimes it drives me nuts at times, because there's one time you could lift a good, feel good PR or whatever, which I'm focused on form more than anything now, because obviously I've had good enough injuries. I want to have this as a long call thing. I don't want to half rep it. And, I did 295 and I barely even went like this. Like, I did it. Like, no, you didn't. You hurt yourself. And plus you didn't even you just got it off the rack. Maybe if that, you didn't even like that, and you call that a rep? Like, come on.
Not the guy that puts 1,000 pounds on the leg sled and moves like a quarter of an inch.
Those videos are laughable, but after what happened to me recently, I can't laugh at nothing. I
want to share a similar story with you, because you shared that with me off camera, and that's your story to tell. But I because of the RA, I lift really, really oddly, because I try and move all my joints every time, and I just lift differently. Well, I've been recently going for back for 225 on bench, because my shoulders are one of the worst joints. And so I was like, okay, 225 for reps, not my 1 rep max, just for reps. And I was like feeling strong at the gym the other day, and I was working my way up to it. And I'm like, damn, I only got to add 10 more pounds to get 225. I'm going to kick this out of the park. I don't need a spotter. I'm good. I got this. I just did 195 for 7. Cool. Got this. Launched it and immediately dropped it to my chest. The bump. And it was like I went spaghetti completely. I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I panicked so much.
Somebody jumped on this thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I panicked so much that I just bounced it up to the first lip, barely, and then just had to do the wiggle of shame, trying to get my head out from underneath it. Yeah, I will ask for a spot next time. And I don't care how strong I feel, because there's nothing worse than that 1 minute of panic when you think you're about to die because the bar's smashing.
Oh my gosh. And the funny thing, and obviously with my incident, the funny thing is I had someone to spot me, and I think we were just talking, and it drops on me, and I'm the one that throws it up. The one that spotted me, he didn't even do it. I throw it up. I'm like, and I remember my biggest conversation was, even though I checked to make sure my teeth were okay, I looked at him, I said, did you do anything? Like, dude, I said I needed a spot. All of a sudden, I just see this thing drop on me. I'm like,
it's like, what the hell?
And then I throw it up myself. I'm like, what were you here for? Like, what? Like,
Well, hey, it was all you, man.
no, guess what? Yeah, I mean, it was like this, and I just throw it up instantly. Like it felt like maybe a 0.2 second, and it was just like, what the freak did I even have a spot for? I drop it on myself, and I throw it up at the same time. Like, what in the world? Hey, you gotta love it. Gotta love it.
How's your wife feel about you
about
lifting
this.
weights? Sorry, I was asking you about that. How's your wife feel about you going to the gym and lifting weights?
Oh, after this, she was pissed about that part. But she likes it because she knows, obviously, from my past and stuff, that's my therapy, basically. I mean, I've been so used to. My thing is, I obviously, you know, popular in schools and stuff like that. The one thing I do take pride is I made the effort to be the one that consistently always goes to a gym. And that's something like I've always in my mindset, that's something that I'd rather just never want to change. And that's something I've put myself to just go through so much. So my wife, she's okay with it. She loves it at times too, because I mean, we just saw a lot of people that we went to high school with, and they don't look like how they used to look when they go to high school. People were mad looking at me like, bro, the only thing that's different with you is your facial hair. Like, that's it. Like, make sure I'm making a determination and stuff like that. I tell people all the time, like, man, I play around the gym. There's a lot of things that she's happy about it now, just because she knows at a health standpoint, I've only ever had 2 health problems the entire 8 years that we've been together. And she's rarely ever seen me sick. And I just tell people all the time, like, they are on so many damn medicine. And I just like, I can't do that. I don't believe in medicine. Like, I have to take these stupid pills that I'm having for these stitches. Like, you had to basically like hold me down to take this stupid thing, because I just don't like taking medicine, because I'd rather be able to control myself before I'm sitting there relying on pills and all this stuff. Like, obviously, when I was younger, doctors, they should know what they're doing, right? But now my mindset is like, man, I'm making sure I check all the lists on my end before I even have to go to the hospital or whatever. And that's something I do lack a lot of. And I obviously, with this ordeal, I'm thinking, oh, it's nothing. They're just going to have to, you know, clean it off, whatever. No, hell no. We went from urgent care. They looked at me and said, oh, you're going to the ER. I'm like, what? It's not even that bad. Like, no, this might be more in depth than what you needed to go. And I mean, I was mad about that. And I'm just like, God dang, man, like, bro, you couldn't just patch it up, whatever. And it's just like, that's something I do still have a problem with. And I guess it's my ego with the gym standpoint, because I mean, you do have a cocky level to an extent, but I don't see it as a cocky thing, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's just something that gym people have. I don't like. My wife says it all the time. That's what I thought it was, but then they're like, "Oh no, you got that you pissing gold coins or something over there." I'm like, "No, I'm not thinking anything like that." But same question to you. Like, how does your wife feel about it? Obviously, with your health and stuff like that, is she concerned about it, or is she more like, this is a good thing for you?
Oh no, she loves it. One, she likes the way I look. I like the attention that I get from her for that. So that's awesome, especially after being married 25 years. So walk through the kitchen, you get your butt smacked. Oh yeah, so that's fun. But she also knows it's my therapy. It's the time that I take and do for myself. She knows the medical reasons, obviously, but mentally it does me a lot of good. Like, if I go a couple days, maybe I've got an injury, or I've just I haven't gone for whatever reason, and we all go through those periods where we let ourselves slip a little bit. She'll tell me, she goes, no, she goes, you need to go back to the gym. I don't even care if you feel like you can lift or not. You're not the same person when you haven't lifted in a few days. She said, you need to go back. So she's incredibly supportive. And there's no bullshit with my lovely bride. I tell everybody, out of all the dominant women on the planet, I married their queen. She doesn't split hairs. She goes, okay, well, are you really tired or are you just being lazy? Which one is it? I'm like, damn, okay, wait, I'm gonna go change. I gotta go to the gym now.
Felt you a little small and then gave you a boost of energy just out of the blue.
Yeah, or she'll say things. She'll be like, man, how long's it been since you did arms? I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go back to the gym. Jeez, you're not filling that shirt out quite as well. Do you need to go down a size? I'm like, what?
Oh man, I remember my wife took a picture of me, whatever, and I was like, damn, man, my back has got muscular as can be. She's like, yeah. And then it was like 2 weeks later, something's like, there's something off. I'm like, what do you mean there's something off? What are you talking about? So I was like, yep, I'm going back. We're doing arms today.
Yep, go back. Gotta lift heavy. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
I'm back in my large. I'm good.
Gotta be jacked. Well, that's the other weird thing too, is like we go, and I don't know about you, but I go through cycles. I'm like, well, okay, I'm trying to get fit. I'm trying to lose weight. And
I get mad when I'm bulking.
I don't give a shit about losing weight, to be honest with you, as long as I look okay.
I don't lose weight. The gaining weight standpoint for me, because like obviously I have a smaller frame type scenario, but it's like when I'm bulking, I look really, nice, good, muscular at the time. But down here, ab wise, it don't look as great because you having to add, the strength. Oh, were you worried about strength ordeal? You're going to lose that. A lot of people don't realize that. And I get to that discouraged part because when I say I'm cutting, I'm not necessarily cutting. It's the fact that I'm getting this to look visible again, because obviously where your bulking standpoint, I've for some weird reason, I always have trouble with that because obviously my core workouts, you're not going to do a lot of core, but I focus on using my core for every lift that I do. Like I tighten my chest on everything. I tell people all the time that is technically your core workouts. And I remember I told one of my friends that, because they hate more than anything legs. And I told them, I said, I'm the worst person to be telling you about training standpoint if you tell me you hate legs, because I do legs about twice a week. And I love doing leg workouts because it's like, that's your main frame. Like the legs is the anchor to help you get a good chest and all that.
Activates the nervous system. It gets everything work. I do legs.
I used to avoid it for the longest time, but now I'm like, nah, man. If there's a week that I have to miss a certain workout, I do not miss legs. I cannot miss leg workouts. And so seeing that type of framery and stuff like that, and that's something like I'm still working with, is like, all right, especially when shows come up, I'm like, okay, I'll do 2 weeks, low carb, play around with it, whatever. If not, I'm going to just eat till I know my limit, and I know my body so well. And it's so funny. I can make myself look kind of out of shape stomach wise. And then 2 to 3 weeks minimum, it's back to like shredded, like, bro, how you doing this? It's just like, you got to know your body. Like I tell people all the time, man.
And not everybody's built the same.
I went a year reading about books and stuff like that, which I hate reading, but I researched so much regarding workouts before I got in to start it, because I was like, I don't want to be this person that, I was making good progress, Usually when you first start in the gym, you're going to see a lot of results. And then when you start getting accustomed and you start being that you're not so green anymore, it's like, your body just kind of like levels out to a plateau because you're not changing anything. You're just doing the same thing. And it's like, well, bro, you kind of more experienced now, so you need to change that up, or you're going to just stay like this. But hey, you're working out. That's good for you. But it's like those levels I usually used to get discouraged about. And I made sure I read so many books about different body types, stuff like that. I mean, mine, luckily, I'm very blessed with. I don't have to worry about gaining weight so much. It's just the fact that, like I've said before, this part right here, it's going to lose a little bit because my frame shouldn't be at 200 something pounds, because it looks kind of weird for a 5'8" type of guy. So, and that's something I've learned so many times. That's why when they still look on these scales, for my weight, for my height limit, I'm at an obese level if I'm at 205. Like, you are at an obese level, which is so weird when they measure that thing out. But it's like, yeah, it does kind of make sense in ways, because you do get puffy at that time. Unless if I'm on something, that's the only way you're really getting that in-depth standpoint. I'm not talking about steroids either, guys. So calm down.
Well, yeah, let me clarify something too, because I'm chronically obese according to that chart, because I'm 5'9", walking around to 240. But anybody that walks up to me wouldn't call me obese at all, just because but my body style is heavily muscled, and it always has been. But do I have a 6-pack abs? No, I don't. Could I? Probably, if I put my mind to it, but I'll do it for about a week and a half, and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm losing size. My shirts are fitting loose. Screw this. And I go right back to eating 250, 300 grams of protein a day and do it. So it depends on your body type. It depends on your goals. I mean, what do you want? Yeah. I like walking around looking like a fire hydrant. I'm okay with that.
Flint said he like walking sideways through doors over here.
That's right. I can't fit down the hallway. Now my wife would tell you it's my ego sometimes. You got to kick that, like pull that plug so it'll go away. But it depends on what your goals are. And anytime, guys, everybody's ready to give you advice. You ever notice this about going to the gym? Somebody starts going to the gym. Everybody gives you advice. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. Oh, you need to do that. Guys, if you're going to go to the gym and you're intimidated to go to the gym, here's the way I believe. Go do what you want to do. If you can eat a little better and you exercise consistently, you're doing stuff that you like, it doesn't matter at all. 90% of the advice out there won't kick in until you've gotten past all of that newbie part and all those gains. Then you need to worry about the technical details. Just show up every day, do what feels good, do what you enjoy, and eat a little better. Try and not drink so much beer.
That is a true statement.
I mean, that's it.
I mean, in your 20s, you can play around with it, but as long as you're going to the gym, you're going to look phenomenal.
It won't be able to help it.
Yeah, like it's easy to do that. Now, when you hit that 30 mark, you need to go to Bud Light Light. You can't go to full Bud Light every time for a protein shake.
Yep. I'm going to drink a 6-pack of beer. That's my carbs after the gym.
Yeah. Nope, it don't work that way no more. And like I said, man, I used to eat burgers and have abs too. It's half a burger now. It ain't a full.
True. And I can't sit there and eat a bag of Doritos like I used to, and sandwiches, and drink a case of beer. I can't do it anymore.
Don't hurt my feelings. Don't hurt my feelings. I can't even eat Doritos anymore. It sucks, because it's like, if I eat one, I'm not stopping. I can't do it.
That's it. It's a treat every once in a while. It's like, okay, I can have.
I do Sunday cheat days. And I play around with it. Like, I have a particular podcast, and they're like, hey, man, so what's your cheat meal today? Like, I was like, pancakes, certain thing. They're like, man, I hate you. Like, it was like, you could do the same thing. Like, what are you talking about? You just don't need to eat pancakes every single day and all that stuff. And I'm like, I hate you. I'm like,
well, people don't understand moderation, or they don't understand. They think they're going to count their macros. Oh my God, how many calories are in my mouthwash?
Oh man,
it's like, guys, the best nutrition for me, the easiest to stick to, is I pick how much protein I want to eat throughout the course of the day. The rest of the stuff just fills it in. It's like, I won't eat more calories than this, and I have to eat this much protein. Well, at 240, 250 grams of protein a day, I'm pretty full from just protein. I don't need a lot of extra stuff because I'm not hungry.
Yeah. So how's the fluid standpoint with you? Like, how much water are you intaking?
I drink at least a gallon of water every day, and I've done that for years, since the early 2000s. Back when I was heavy, it's funny when I say back when I was heavy, I used to be 250, 260, but no muscle. 240 and no muscle and 240 and muscle look completely different. Yeah. The scale thinks they're the same, but you look completely different. But during that time, I was so large, I had heart problems, so I sweat all the time, even when it was inside. So I got used to rehydrating and drinking a gallon of water every day. I just never broke that habit because I feel good. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll carry a gallon jug around with me generally, but usually I've got one of the metal cups and I just fill it up 7-10 times a day, and it's fun. It's like, okay, and go get some ice water, and I always have it. But I believe that hydration is absolutely important. And I also believe that people need to monitor their salt intake, and not from taking too much salt, because if you're taking in all the water, you don't have enough salt in your body, you can't deal, your body won't produce osmosis, you won't absorb most of it. So, and there's either too much salt in food today or not enough. And there's no halfway in between.
No, there's never going to be an in between. So,
No.
Flint, I do want to talk about old man energy, how that come upon, and like what does all that entail and stuff, like you just said, with the health standpoint and all that. So, what is old man energy?
Man, I appreciate that. We're talking about my favorite subject now, aside from weightlifting, which obviously is another favorite subject. Old man energy started.
Meatheads.
Exactly. We talked for almost 45 minutes about weightlifting. That somebody's going to love this podcast. I hope everybody does. I shared the origin story of it when I was lifting. I think I was doing deadlifts, and that's where the old man energy came from. And out of all of that, out of the exercise and the 75 hard and the defining my purpose, I was like, I want to share my message with people, because I watched all of these men just become more and more emasculated every day. And a bunch of weak, pathetic men turn into tyrants. And I don't like the word pathetic. I'm not calling anybody pathetic, but a lot of us feel that way, and we call ourselves that because we don't just feel like we're being true men, we're being good dads, we're being good fathers or leaders or husbands or whatever it is. So started the podcast, started sharing. And honestly, it wasn't even a podcast when I started. Back in the old Instagram TV days, Old Man Energy was the gym after the gym. It's kind of like Anchor is now what Spotify for podcasters, what it turned into. So this is old school stuff. I would sit in my truck after the gym and just share my thoughts. And I tell everybody I became an accidental influencer on Instagram, and it's absolutely true. I didn't set out to do that. I just wanted to tell my story. I was like, I'm feeling this way. There's got to be some other guys out there feeling this way. Developed a very active following from that. So started the podcast again to expand that vision, to try and capture some of these stories and these lessons that I've learned over the years, and tell guys specifically, it's like, you don't have to believe the lie that you've been sold your entire life. It's no wonder that young men are confused in today's society, because they feel like men inside, and they're told that aggression is bad and that the all masculinity is evil when it's not. Or then you got the term toxic masculinity, which don't even get me started on that. But it's no wonder they're confused, because they're feeling a certain way inside naturally. And guys of our generation were just not stepping up to the plate and mentoring these young men, because we are a fatherless generation being raised by a fatherless generation. And we are a couple years away from that being 3 generations deep. Yep. And that's a problem. Whereas men our age, we're dealing with either lower testosterone levels, or just the stress of life is bringing us down, or we don't have that camaraderie. So we've lost some friendships over the years, and we're not sharpening ourselves against other men. So it's a multifaceted problem that's just ugly, and it's getting worse. And as a result, you got a lot of men out there that are just, they turn into tyrants, because they end up picking on people that are weaker than them, or they end up being aggressive or oppressive or what have you. And when all they really need is a true man to step in and mentor them or be a friend to them and say, no, this is not okay. That threat of getting your ass kicked by a peer is a very real thing inside of manhood, as far as that goes. So the podcast led to that, which has led to some one-on-one coaching. I've got some clients from there of both sexes. Actually, I focus on men, but I don't only coach and teach men. And I take a multiple approach, because in business consulting and in sales, I'd have business owners that were doing amazingly well in their business, but their life was a mess. They were out of shape. Their kids didn't like them. They were getting divorced. They didn't have a good relationship. So I ended up developing an approach which encompasses life, body, business, and mind. And whether you hire me for a business consultant, whether I'm a coach for you, whether it's fitness, we're going to talk about all 4 of those things. Because I really believe if you're going to be a good dad, then you need to keep yourself in shape to be an example to your kids. If you're going to be a good husband, then you need to mentally be there for your wife, and you need to take care of yourself, because you can't pour into anybody else unless you're unless you're filling yourself up, unless you're taking care of yourself first. And that starts with physical. It starts with mental. It starts with your business. You know what? If you're not happy at work, you're not going to be happy at home. So maybe you need to make some changes there. And if we're not constantly being mentally stimulated, whether that's with mentors or whether that's with a peer group or whether that's reading, then we tend to slip into old patterns that are comfortable, but not necessarily very healthy. And all of that encompassed, try to get that out in one message. It's impossible to say in 30 seconds where you want your elevator speech. But I really believe that, that we can change the world one man at a time. One guy deciding to be a good man and teach somebody else how to be a good man and be a friend over here to this person that wants to be a good man. And then they'll go do the same thing and they'll go do the same thing. So we're building a community of strong, dominant men who lead with love, who are kind, but are able to get business taken care of when it's time to take care of business. That's the true essence of old man energy.
Hey man, I love everything about that concept, because I like I said in the beginning, man, I used a lot of things, you know, you just said it perfectly. People talk about an inspirational influencer by accident. I just did this to help people realize, just to also help me realize, like, man, I'm not the only person that's gone through stuff like this. You know, my past with my son, being autistic, and, you know, being with his mom and stuff that we have went through with him, being in and out of the hospital, and just the whole transitions of past relationship standpoint to where it wasn't as good. And obviously, you know, seeing the trials and errors of that, and just stuff that I've had to endure with it. Like I tell people all the time, like, some stuff that I thought are some of the biggest failures in my life also transitioned into certain things that happened. You know, things that happened with my son helped me get into the world of pro wrestling, and helped me get into these different things. Is like, it transitioned me. Like I tell people all the time, every door that closed, there was a door that was waiting for me to open. And that's something like a lot of people just, I feel like so many people, it's either they're scared or they just don't have the mind right to just go, hey, I'm not happy, but what else do I have? Like, I mean, job wise, it's hard to, you know, find a good paying job. This is a great paying job, but they're mistreating me. They're not taking care of me, and I can't take it out on them. So when I go home, wife is going to take it. The kids are going to take it because I'm the man. And that's something I have learned in some ways too, is because I've actually had some people on the podcast and they were talking about, you know, that's where a lot of relationships fall, is based off of not good relationships at work, stuff like that, because obviously you're not going to take the pride and go off on a boss or something like that from work, because that's your job, that's your boss type scenario. But when you go home, you're a comfort to it because, oh, I'm the man of the house, so I can be the boss, like that type scenario, which I never understood that mindset, but people do that.
Unfortunately, too often.
No, I'm not. Go. Lord help me. But the way you were saying, not only would we work on your mental, you're also talking about the physical standpoint. That speaks a lot of volumes, because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you gotta just have that mental, and that's all you need. And I'm like, you need that physical aspect. Like I tell people all the time, like, the new trend, dad bod.
Bullshit. That's not a preference. It's lack of options.
I'm just like, why? I'm not saying you have to have abs. I'm not saying you have to have 20-inch pythons. Relax. I'm not telling you to turn into freaking Hulk Hogan. I'm just saying, bro, it's better to be active, because guess what? You can run with the kids. You can do activities. In grocery standpoint, you can grab groceries, you can walk with groceries, you can help your lady out. You go into the gym, increases your testosterone. So guess what? She's going to be appreciative of that when that time comes. And I don't need to have to tell you what I'm talking about. Like, it helps boost your whole masculine mentality. I've sat here and said countless times, I look at people all the time the one thing that drives me nuts, and they just don't still take that change, are these same ones that will look at their phone and go, man, I used to look like that. You could. And obviously, if you put the determination, and you're going to realize, hey, man, it's going to probably take me 3 years maximum to hit that goal. But what can you do to get started, to get into that leeway, to get to that point? It's just, it drives me nuts because I look at people all the time like, if people would just pay. So I use this reference perfectly. I say, like someone going to a restaurant, and they pay X amount of dollars for a steak dinner. They don't finish it. Their main incentive is going to finish that later. They're going to finish that steak later. Why can't you do that for your health? Why can't you make that acknowledgement, go, well, I put money into this. I need to fix this. I tell people all the time, man, your body is like a car. You keep giving that bad mileage, guess what? Eventually you're going to break down, and you're not going to be able to get yourself back up. And a lot of people don't realize that until it's too late. And then they go, well, I've been eating clean for a month, and it's still there, and I don't know why I'm not in that right mindset. Because you waited too long. Like, take advantage of the time that you have with that. I have learned so many different ways with my son being a disabled kid that is on the autism spectrum, being in and out of a hospital, seeing these kids that are around him in these hospitals that are crying because they can't even pick up a pencil. But we're having problems that no one can go on a treadmill. I mean, you live in Florida, go and walk. Like, I know a lot of people want to crap on the walking scenario. If that's what you like, you're moving your body. That's all you need to do. I'm not telling you to lift weights. If that's not your thing, go walk. You don't realize how much calories you burn just getting up every day, getting up. And it's just like, man, if people just take these little changes, things happen. You don't need the coffee over excessive amounts of coffee from Starbucks or whatever, which Starbucks is pretty high now. I think gas prices are almost cheaper than Starbucks at times.
Oh my God. I heard a quote about Starbucks the other day. It said at some point at around 200 calories, you need to accept that you're no longer drinking coffee and you like milkshakes.
Seriously. Oh my goodness. I could go on a full rant for that one.
Oh, that's a different story. But you're right. Anything that you do to move yourself is good progress. That's it. Just do something consistently. And people get overwhelmed. And I don't know about you, but if you go to search for something on the internet and you look something up on Google, every freaking ad on every platform that you look at is now about that. And then all the articles that are designed so then it's for this, it's for that. And you just suffer from information overload. And I think it shuts a lot of people down. And again, you don't need most of that information. Eat a little bit less and move a little bit more. Start there. That's it. If you don't want to lift weights, go walk. If you don't want to jog, go ride a bike. I mean, who cares?
Especially those desk jobs. I'm like, dude, just get up. Like, get up. After you get home, don't just go to the couch. Don't just go to bed when you get home. Go walk. Do something. Hey, I know most of these people have dogs. Go take your dog out. Your dog will appreciate it. And at the same time, you're going to get a nice little burn at the same.
Yeah. And it doesn't take it. It really is that easy. Just move. And then people tell us all the time, we can't exercise. I don't have time, or I'm too out of shape, or this or that. It's like, look, you can walk from your couch to the refrigerator. You can exercise. That's it. Doesn't have to be fancy.
You can go buy McDonald's every single week and all that, and then you wonder why you're going to have a heart attack. Yeah, like, you don't wonder why you're having diabetes and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you doing this to yourself.
We could do
you have a choice. And that's the thing I've learned. And this is something I've taught people plenty of times. And I don't have to be a philosopher, a doctor, a surgeon, scientist, whatever we want to say. I sit there and say all the time, you have a choice. It's up to you to figure out what path you want to go. Like, I have learned that so many times. Okay, I'm in that mindset. I'm not in the dad bod era. I'm sorry. That's just not me. I cannot do it. I told my wife, I've tried it. me not going to the gym this week right now has been driving me nuts. And it's only been 3 days I haven't been in the gym, but it's like I feel like I've already wasted too much time with my life as it is. Not at the gym, but it's like you gotta have that type of acknowledgement to go, all right, man, what can I do to make this change? It's summertime. Oh yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna do this and this and this. Are you doing it today? I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. I'm not feeling it right now. Like, get up and do it. It's
if you ain't gonna do it today, you ain't gonna do it tomorrow.
I tell people all the time, man, the biggest thing is to show up. You show up, you already beat half the challenges. And of course, after and I say it plenty of times, if you already show up to the gym, you're not just not gonna go. You're not gonna work out. You're there, you're going to definitely work out. Like
I've never gone to the gym and regretted it when I left, ever.
My last gym trip I did though.
Okay, well there's that, but now I have had some pretty serious discussions with myself sitting in the parking lot of the gym from time to time.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever had all right, obviously this is going to be off the road a little bit. We're going to finish on this after this. But have you ever had a time where you take a pre-workout and it just doesn't hit your system? Like it takes forever to get in your system? Because I read on for the longest time. This was when I was still like really new to some things. I was like, all right, I'm going to get a coffee and I'm going to use that as a pre-workout. So obviously I was short on time. So I went and got, a coffee from Starbucks. It was just a black coffee, whatever. This bitch was hot for 2 hours. So I'm sitting there waiting for it just to get a level for me to even indulge into it. So I'm just, this is when I was playing fitness. I'm just sitting in their parking lot, just waiting for my coffee to cool down just so I can drink it to work out. Like, and it took 2 hours for that thing to be room temperature enough for me just to drink it. And then when it got in my system, I'm like, bro, I'm not feeling this.
Now, full disclosure, I don't use pre-workout anymore, but I did. I was a first form guy for a long time, so I used all their different pre-workouts.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the pump, and I still use some pump and the different supplements, but I just don't do pre-workout anymore because I had to severely restrict the amount of caffeine that I was taking in. I still will drink a pot of coffee in the morning. I drink it black, so there's nothing else in it. But then I'd have a pre-workout, and then I'd have a couple of Monsters. My caffeine intake was off the charts. But yes, there are days when you get in there, and a bad day at the gym is still better than not going. But there's some days when you get in there and it just you're not feeling it. You could have eaten correctly, you could have taken your pre-workout, you're hydrated, and you get in there and you're just not strong. You're just like, okay, it's just an off day. Well, going through the motions at that point, giving it everything you have, even when it's less than what you normally do, is still worth it and is still counts towards that cumulative effort of growth and the consistency, and you will still feel better when you walk out of there.
Those mirrors will sell you. Those mirrors will sell you in the gym, man. I get blown away by those things. I'm like, man, because I was like, man, if I look like that, I'm happy. Yeah. And then I went in my mirror, I'm like, I don't look like that at the same.
It's like, wait a minute, are those angled? What are they doing? I've been trying to
mirror. I don't like this mirror. It's lying. It's lying.
I do that at home. I've been trying to take sideways stuff so I can show my chest and my arms and stuff like that. And I end up looking so stupid because I'm all scrunched up looking at my phone. It's hilarious. But I take and I post on Instagram. Almost every day I take the same picture at the gym. And then somebody asked me one time, they're like, why do you take the same picture and post it every day? So I got that. That's accountability for me. Yeah. And that's inspiration for me because I can go back and I'll know I was having a hard time, but I can still see that I was consistent. Or if I'm having a hard time, I can scroll back in my own Instagram and see, okay, I know I was having a hard time here. I was consistent. I want to keep looking like this. I want to keep staying in shape. So it helps me. Maybe helping me will help somebody else. Maybe it'll show them, hey, that dude goes to the gym all the time and he's obviously busy. He posts everything he does. It gets annoying sometimes, but you know what? He makes time. So maybe I can make time to go do it. If I help one person by taking the same damn picture every day, cool. It works.
I had that same thing where I was doing workout videos, but I was trying to teach people like, bro, y'all got to do this the right way or y'all going to screw your bodies up. Like I remember when I was in middle school, I remember in high school, I only learned 4 lifts: bench, deadlift, squat, and incline. No, it was shoulder press. They didn't even tell you incline. It was shoulder press. and it was the military shoulder press. And this is tell you how old it was. It's the one where they tell you all the military presses where you pick it up, you gotta stand up with it. Pick it up, stand up with it. Sit back down. Pick it up, stand up with it. And then I realized that was BS. And all that stuff is basically BS at the same time. And it's like, really? Like, man, you had me. I went to college looking like a dummy. Like, some of these people are looking at me like, you ain't do this in high school? I don't even know what that is. Like,
what are you doing? See, I was a nerd in school. I didn't start lifting weights until my late 20s. So I was not exercised. I was bullied. It was ugly. The gym was just a horrible place for me when I was a kid. It was, even in high school, it was not a good place. I wish I'd learned earlier, but you know what? Maybe I wouldn't be able to do what I do now if I'd started lifting when I was younger because of stuff like that. I told my chiropractor the other day, I said, hey, listen, remember, any exercise is a lower back exercise if you do it wrong enough.
Yep. Yeah, you true.
That gave him that gave him confidence. I send him my 400-pound squat videos and stuff just to set him at ease so he knows he's got some job security.
Just to let you know, them hands are going to be needed soon.
Here's why I have an appointment. Look what I did.
Guys, check his links below. Enjoy this. Go.
The only thing I want to say is for your audience, you're going to be on my podcast, and we're going to continue this discussion, and we're going to hear a lot more about Warren's background. I'm super excited it's been everything I could do not to ask you about your own background on your podcast. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story, brother. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you even better.
Absolutely, man. This is definitely, we could tell this is not going to be the last episode. No. We went a full escapade talking about gym stuff. That was the funny part.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were
got to sell his podcast. We still got to do all this part. I'm like, we went 30 minutes talking about just workouts.
Hey, that works for me, though. You know what? We talk about that's our authenticity. So, guys, I love all of y'all. And please give me a follow if you want to hear more. And definitely check out the episode with Warren on the Old Man Energy podcast. Be out there in a couple weeks. Thanks for having me, brother.
Man. All right, Flint, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You do the same. Bye.